Hi there, it's Kevin with the Rogue Market here with today's Daily Delve, where we delve into the MTG market to look for cards that have the potential of going up. Today I'm going to pick Warden of the Inner Sky. I like this card a lot because it has the double dipping factor of being played in both Pioneer and in Standard. In fact, the deck Boros Convoke that it's in Standard is almost identical to the deck that is in Pioneer. So this card is here to stay after rotation and should be a staple in Pioneer for a long time coming because this is a very powerful one drop. I don't see this being replaced anytime soon, and it just gets better and better with the more tokens and artifacts and other things that synergize with this card. So Warden of the Inner Sky is actually the 12th most played card in Standard, with a average deck that is running about 4 of these copies. So typically that's what I like to see. If you look at Tishana's Tidebinder, it's in 30% of all decks with 2.3 played cards per deck, and Tishana's is all the way up to 12, almost $11.50, almost up to $12 with this card. So it's from the same set, so you can't just say Lost Caverns of Ixalan's open more, therefore maybe the rares in this set are going to be worth less than rares of maybe a set that's not opened. It's from the exact same set, and I even think this card has a lot of potential in a lot of commander decks. People will run this for +1/+1 counter matters type decks, for even scrying matters type decks, for anything go wide. I think it will show up in more commander decks than most people realize, with just being a pretty powerful one drop that can get bigger and bigger with very little effort in those type of decks as well. So if we look kind of over a lot of the price history of this card, it's already been going up. It's going for about $2.25 on average. It does have the extended version at lower, but there aren't any copies for under that price right now. All of them have been eaten up from the demand of this deck. So the normal version, like I said, is about anywhere from $2.25 to $3 on TC Mid. But if, again, it's a good anchor to look at Tishana's Tidebinder. So, well, that's working. I understand this is like a legacy playable card, and commander decks are really loving this card. However, I still think that there's enough demand from Pioneer and enough demand from the Standard for this card to go up. Most of the cards in Standard that see this amount of play are already up to $4, $5, $6 and already being buy listed at multiple buy list places for about $2 to $3. If you head over to Card Kingdom has 0 of these in stock of any version. And again, it just goes into a plethora of different decks, from go wide strategies to artifact matters to tokens. A lot of decks are just using this as the go-to one drop because it is very, very powerful in these type of decks. If you've played this card in like a Boros Convoke deck, it's hard to replace because even though it doesn't go wide itself, the ability to scry and fix the top of your library, as well as just have a threat that eventually becomes an evasive creature that keeps getting bigger and bigger in those stalled board states, it really, really deserves its one drop slot. So again, this card just gets a lot better with even things that you wouldn't think, like the Portable Hole in Pioneer, with something that comes out, has some sort of ETB effect. You can then tap it to add the +1 counter, treasures, maps, food token. All of those things just make this card better and better. Right now, it's mainly just Boros decks and Azorius decks that are running this because those are the 2 color combinations that are in favor. But I could foresee a time in Pioneer where maybe there's like a Voice of Resurgence deck that would want to use this in a Celestia shell, or even a Azorius shell that has some sort of go wide strategy, token-based strategy, will also want to pick this up. As I mentioned, treasures, everything just synergizes so much blood tokens with this card, and it just keeps getting better and better as more cards enter into the pool of Magic. So that's the type of card I like to look for, one that's going to, right now, has a high power level and just gets more powerful as time goes on. And I think at the $2.25 to $3 range, this is definitely a pickup, especially if you need it for decks or if you're foreseeing building this deck in the future. So for this week, this, I think, is just a no-brainer for the Warden of the Inner Sky for this day's Daily Delve. As always, I appreciate everyone watching, and see you tomorrow.